Hey everybody, ChristopherOdd here. Welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. This game is called Shardpunk Verminfall, and if you like XCOM, if you like Darkest Dungeon, you are going to love this game. There's also some elements from things like Slay The Spire and the way that you navigate the next area you want to go to. The art is beautifully done, pixel art style, and I just am pumped about this. We of course get this warning saying it's not an easy game, and I can attest to that. It is not an easy game. Things are going to feel stressful. We're going to always feel like we don't have enough stuff to get what we want done. Over time, as we play, we're going to unlock new skills, upgrades, characters that might make the game easier, but that's like our reward, is to struggle slightly less. To open, we've got 4 characters available. We can unlock these guys through various means that we'll talk about later. We've got Mycroft Valentine, we have Tilly Rexward, Gideon Shaw, and Michael Kibbs. This guy, I think, is a really good soldier to bring in early because he's got some very good camping skills. So after you do missions, you go back and you rest, like in Darkest Dungeon, and he can help reduce stress, because yeah, that's a thing. So we're gonna throw him in there. Gideon Shaw's cool. She's like our sniper right now. I did see who else was here. There was somebody else that was a sniper. Yeah, Gunter Knapp. So he might be cool to unlock later on. But Gideon Shaw, he's got quick shots. So you can take 2 sniper shots at lower damage. But you can get 2 off in a turn, where normally you can only get 1. He also has a starting trait where he's calm, so he gets extra max stress, so bad things happen less frequently. And Tilly Rexward has a shotgun but prefers fighting with her trusted katana, and I can attest to that. This is yes, I'm taking her. She has close and personal, so she has a 50% critical chance when shooting adjacent enemies right next to her. But again, we're going to be focusing on the katana. Now, these automatons, we only have 1 of the 3 right now. If the automaton dies, your game is over. Done. You can resurrect them through various means. There are ways to kind of mitigate that, but if you're out of options and your automaton's gone, poof, game's over. So this automaton has support mode, which makes sure that any allies that are next to him don't build up heat in their gun. There's no ammo system, there's a heat system, so we'll talk about that in a bit. They also get a better chance to hit, and I think extra base damage on their guns. And then he's got the ability to lay low, which is basically just increasing defense. Yeah. So +1 max damage there. Unable to move when in that mode, no problem. Okay, let's throw you in there. And we are going to do the tutorial level. There's a little bit of hand-holding at the start, but I think it'll be good for you guys to see what all the mechanics are like. But then it kind of does it like in the XCOM style of tutorial, where it guides you through a few of your early decisions and says, okay, good luck, finish off the stuff. Yeah, we're going to go. We're going to stay on normal as well. I don't know how this is going to progress into the late game, but I think normal is probably a good place to start because there is a challenge. Let's go. The capital was under siege for many weeks. The vermin horde was relentless, and Imperial reinforcements still hadn't arrived. Still, there was hope. A new kind of weapon, one that could turn the tides of the war, had just been manufactured in one of the capital's laboratories. Sadly, that happened too late. Under cover of night, enemies emerged inside the city from underground. The defenders were caught off guard, and the vermin flooded the capital. Nobody was safe. Here we go. That's right. The enemies are rats. Human-sized psychotic rats. So we start out alone. In about 5 minutes, we're going to find our other party members. They're going to join us, and then we're going to kind of take control from there. So let's get you going. You can use WASD. You can zoom in and out. The book icon in the top left is the codex entry, which is very, very helpful. This breaks down almost every mechanic in the game. Codex holds useful information, and we have 2 action points by default. Use AP to perform actions, including movement. Moving within the white range uses 1. Going into the orange range uses 2. This is stuff that most of you are familiar with. So we're going to move up here now. We've spent 1 AP. We have 1 left. Yes. And we're going to head over here. Okay. I'm going to move through this stuff relatively quick because it's going to be common knowledge for a lot of you. But if you need to pause, feel free and do that. Tiles marked in green and blue are interactable. Green tiles indicate places that can be searched for loot. So let's move to this. And these are free actions, which is really nice. You could dash there and you could still search these things. So we'll go ahead and search that. We got some supplies and some shards. These are used for crafting and for resting between missions. So we found some items. Those have been added to the top right of the screen. That didn't cost any AP, so let's move up and go here. There's our first 3 rats. These are baby rats, okay? These guys are nothing. We got this. We are gonna take damage, okay? We're gonna take damage here, but, you know, generally, we got these. Select the shoot action. Now we can tab through our targets that we want. This is very similar to the XCOM layout. It shows you your percentage chance to hit, shows your damage range, it shows you what's going into your percent to hit calculation, and we are just going to start blasting. Our damage range hopefully doesn't hit the 1, but I'm pretty sure it's going to make us get rid of 2 of them here. Okay, so we got rid of 2. Notice our weapon heating up in the bottom left there. It's also restricted our action bar right now. This is very tutorialized, so we're going to have a lot more actions available to us as we go. So he hit us. Now, the melee attacks in Shardpunk always hit their target, which is another reason I chose the person with the sword to start with. Due to the shots you've taken, your weapon's heat is now maxed out and it can't shoot normally. You can see the heat in the bottom left there. When a weapon's overheated, you can still perform a shot, but it's riskier. So, fair play. So if we take this, you can see we're doing significantly more damage here, but there's a 95% chance that we would take 4 damage. So you really don't want to do this unless you're modifying your guns or abilities in certain ways. But right now, this is not what we want to be doing. So we're going to go ahead and vent the weapon, which is nice. Reduces its heat to 0. You can now shoot the remaining enemy without risk of the backfire. There we go. I was reading some of the dev logs, and he talked about the change from going like to ammo, from ammo to this heat system. And if I'm not mistaken, that came from community members suggesting that over time. So very cool to see. Let's vent the weapon again. We might as well. Let's move forward to the highlighted location. Now, one thing we need to talk about. This is not just a go in and kill all the enemies type of game. We're not just running through a corridor trying to kill all the enemies, okay? The purpose here is to find a safe bunker. It's like there's survival elements where we have to search for all these materials to make sure that we're able to keep upgrading and healing our guys. We need to be not just dilly-dallying because we will get overrun with enemies. We need to find the bunker, open the bunker, and try to get out of here. So we've got a ranged enemy, but we're not behind cover. Cover works just like it does in XCOM. You can see we've got full cover here. We got half cover here. I do want to note, though, this exposed or flanked worked a little bit differently. So if I move here, you see those yellow icons? That's showing that I'm flanked. There appears to be like maybe a 45 or a 30-degree angle where flanking occurs from, and it's actually kind of a nice way of doing it because you can get some higher chances to hit by working your angles a bit. There's an XCOM 2 mod that does something similar, and I really like that. Different map elements provide partial or full cover. The shotgunner is in partial cover. Let's search for a better place to hide. When we point to the target, you can see the cover types that adjacent cover provides. That's fine. If it's yellow, it shows flanked. Yes, we're going to head way over here into full cover. See you later. Too bad, so sad. Now we're going to go in for, I believe, a traditional flank here. So high cover, they missed us. Holding the Alt key shows potential chances to hit. So I just want to show you the flanking thing, for example. Like if I go here, that's me flanking the enemy. I am also flanked, which is why this is yellow. But his percentage chance to hit, being yellow, is a flank. All of these are flanks, right? And typically you would expect this to be a flank. Obviously anything on this side. But I kind of like that it's like this. And yeah, anyways, I think that's cool. Let's go here. Very traditional flank. We're going to take the shot, 1 to 4 damage. I'll take 5. That's a crit. Okay. Scored a critical hit. They deal more damage. But just to be clear, The critical shot chance is not related to flanking. That is something that's a little bit different from some other tactics games. The rats drop something as a green highlight has appeared. Go and pick it up now on it. They don't always drop stuff, but when they do, it's usually pretty valuable. Found a stim pack so we can heal ourselves. Now we've got some additional things up here. Stim pack, grenades, and fusion cores. Fusion cores, arguably the most important item in the game. And then you can see the individual character inventory down here, because this will tabulate how much you have for your entire squad, and this bottom right section will show you your individual inventory. Totally, yeah, okay. I'm a little ahead. I'm excited. Okay, we're gonna heal up here. Now, this heals for 2 to 3, cures poison, and it's a temporary boost. Okay, so the HP that you restore during a mission goes away at the end, and you have to heal via camping or in your shelter. Also, when you heal, you take some stress, and stress works just like you might imagine in Darkest Dungeon. Once you hit certain thresholds, you can roll for negative quirks and stuff, which is kind of cool. Let's keep moving. Okay, we're gonna head out here. Notice lots of dead bodies. Few bad things are going on here. I just want to point out that there's 2 bars that are under here, these purple bars. That's your stress meter. The ones below that are your action points, and the ones above that are your health. You do get benefits from being low stress. If I could find that here. Yeah, stress levels. So when you're low stress below that black marker, you get a % to hit bonus. Once you have 9 or more, you still have a smaller % to hit bonus, but you get a defense penalty. And then if you max it out, you might receive a new negative trait or become panicked, which makes the character uncontrollable for a number of turns. Okay, so we're gonna set up an Overwatch here. And this works a little differently than in some other tactics games, but these guys are going to get shot at. We have 2 Overwatch shots. It says we have 2 Overwatch shots. Oh, well, what happened there? Your Overwatch reaction shot triggered only once despite having 2 charges. Why is that? Spoiler alert, the heat. Okay, so we only had 1 heat available in our gun. Vent your weapon and finish off the remaining enemy. On it. By the way, I just want to shout out the devs. This tutorial is amazing. Like, this is how you make a tutorial. You gradually introduce all the mechanics over time that you're going to need to make the decisions, and including stuff like that, where you're guaranteeing that you're taking some damage, where something goes wrong that wasn't according to plan, and it shows you why that's happening. That's very cool. Now I was going to talk about stress points. So when your character stats, stress is one of the stats that affects gameplay. Consult the codex for more details, which we've already done. Okay, let's move up here. We're gonna get our 2nd and 3rd party members here in a sec. But not before we deal with these guys. And you can see stress it kind of builds up over time. Certain actions impact stress, so it's something you have to manage. These rats have set up Overwatch reactions. They're gonna fire at you when you get close. Now, notice we have the little icons showing you when you're going to trigger Overwatch, which is very nice. However, we're going to push our luck. There are enemies that are snipers that literally just Overwatch, and they are a real pain to deal with. We'll run into them at some point for sure. In my experience testing the game, that is not the norm, okay? That was lucky, correct. But that is, I'm always getting hit by Overwatchers. The enemies missed all their attacks. This was done for demonstration purposes. Regular combat may not be that forgiving. We're gonna search this location for supplies. So we got a grenade. How convenient. How convenient. Okay, so this is good at dealing area damage, as you might expect. We're gonna toss this down here, and we're gonna get rid of both of them. There was a damage range of, I believe, 3 to 5 on the grenade. Okay, let's head down here. And look at that. Okay, game is on. I gotta shout out the music too. I don't know if this is a pretty small dev team. But like the vibe of the game it's just, yeah, I'm having a super time. Characters can swap items when they stand next to each other. So we're gonna move over here. Yes, this is shared up top, just showing our totals. But in here, we can see she had a med kit, so we're going to transfer that over. And now... Oh, transfer 2 grenades. Yeah, sure, we'll do that as well. Okay. Just like picking them up, doesn't cost AP. That's super nice. Very easy to understand. We now have more characters under our control. We can tab through them or use Q and E. That's fine. We can also just left-click on them if we want. The game's going to open up more now, and you'll gain access to more character actions. Remember that your goal is not to kill as many enemies as possible. Your goal is to escape the level. Try to get your characters to safety. Good luck. Now, the challenge is... you also need to be scavenging for supplies, because these are the things that are going to keep you alive long term. We still haven't got our Automaton, but that's going to happen over here. So let's get to work, shall we? Let's get his gun vented. So a quick overview here. We've got shoot, overwatch, katana slash, the heals, the grenades, the fusion core, bolt shot. So this is like a very... very powerful shot that you can use a fusion core for, but there's way more important things to save that for. Hunkering down for extra defense, and then Overwatch all, which is very nice to have. So as I said, we can dash to some of these positions, and we can still open these up. Unfortunately, I can't get to any of these with our guy who's far back there. So let's come down here, and then we'll use her to grab this. Okay. Another thing, these are all pre-made characters, and I think they're doing that for some type of story reasons. It would be awesome if you could customize them and have your own names like in XCOM, but that's not a thing here. Let's go ahead and search this. When it's a big shelf like this, any of these 3 slots, you can search it and have no problem. And you'll search the whole thing. So we got some scrap there. This is fine. I don't love that we have enemies here. So it seems like in this game, discovering pods is a little bit less punishing than in something like XCOM, which is, you know, probably pretty nice for a lot of people. Let's come in here, and we're going to set up some overwatches, and something cool, I think, is going to happen. We set up overwatch. Yeah, sick. Okay, this is one of the coolest parts of the game, I think. So they have this thing called tactics that are only uncovered by accidentally doing the thing. You might be able to infer some hints when we look at the menu, but this tactic is called covering fire, and it gives the people next to each other that are doing the overwatch 20% extra chance to hit, which is insane. And so that was a shotgun blast from pretty much downtown, but it had extra 20% chance to hit, so pretty nice. There's multiple combat tactics waiting to be discovered. Check the codex for details. And then once you uncover them, you know what you need to be doing. So covering fire here. Toggle Overwatch next to an overwatching ally. Characters in Overwatch get 20% chance to hit, which is huge. Another one that I had was looting spree. So if you loot 3 sections or 3 times in a turn, then for the following 2 turns, you get a bonus looting chance. So the stuff that you find is better, which is really cool. Chop and blast I found, which is if you hit somebody with a melee attack and gun in the same turn, then that enemy gets stunned. So there's like a lot of really cool little things in here that you really have to focus on gameplay wise. Okay, so this guy's got 5. We probably can reach him with the katana, which we will. You switch targets for melee attacks the same way for ranged. The highlighted area represents the possible locations where the attack will be delivered from. Execute melee attacks by selecting a tile inside the highlighted area and confirming. So what that's saying is you can tab through and select which enemy you might be targeting, and then you just select your destination square and right-click that, and that's where the attack's going to come from. So let's go with the katana. Okay, we rolled a 3. That's fine. We can still finish this guy from here, hopefully. It doesn't really, like, I should be taking cover here, but it doesn't really matter because I think we're going to finish him, but yeah, that's great. But there's the chop and blast. Okay, so hit an enemy with a melee and ranged attack in a single turn. The enemy is stunned, which is nice because he can't act, right? I'm still going to try and deal with it, but if I look at this, so here's another example of the flank. It's not totally a flank as we're used to. There's like a certain degree where if you're close enough to a flank, it gives it to you, which again, I think is kind of cool. So we're going to come here, and we'll just finish them off. Now, the sniper, we have this quick shot, okay? So I can use this. It's only 1 to 2 damage compared to the higher amount that it normally does, but it only costs 1 AP. So you can be a mobile sniper with reduced damage and reduced accuracy, but ideally you take the bigger damage shots, but this should be good. Okay. Weapon's running hot, so we should take a second here to vent our weapon. It does cost 1 AP, obviously. We could vent hers as well, I guess. Maybe what I'll do is this. Let's bring her here. And we'll bring you here, and we're gonna bring you here. I'm gonna show you another tactic, okay? So we're gonna search. We got medical supplies there. Search with Michael. We got a stim pack, that's huge. And we're gonna search here. And she found nothing. But, even though she found nothing, we're on a looting spree now. So if you can loot 3 times in a single turn, then looting's more effective for the following 2. So all the things that I've told you that I've found in my experimenting, we are now seeing here. And what's cool about that is we can try this out right now and hopefully, nice. So it showed looting bonus there, and we got shards, which means this probably had nothing before. Also like it when you tab to these characters, it shows you any bonus really quickly as you tab to them. Okay, let's bring our shotgun katana wielder up. We'll bring you here. And we'll throw you up here. There's not much I can do right now. We're either waiting for enemies or trying to get in here. So looting bonus is done. One of his abilities is this tactical order, which is very nice. So you reduce stress by 5 to any visible nearby ally, and it has a cooldown of 2 turns. It's very, very powerful. These guys, their stress is super low, so it doesn't matter. He can't reduce his own stress, though, which is definitely something to be considering. I don't necessarily want to get too deep here, but let's see. Okay, technicians here, that's fine. I'm just worried about potential enemies, but again, I don't think discovering new pods is as scary as something like XCOM. And that's very much by design, I think. Because they want you to be... The style of this game is you're constantly moving towards a certain exit point, and you're going to be getting pressure from all these different areas, so... Okay. Let's go ahead and run to the scientist, and we'll chat. This automaton has to be protected. Take it to the Imperial Palace. Hurry. This fusion core might help you too. Go. So she got a fusion core. And he's gone. His dying words were to save the automaton. Why is that? Great question. I don't know, but he's obviously very important. Okay, so here's the bunker that we need to escape to. And we have our first fusion core. They're combat items that have many uses. You can use fusion cores to deal massive damage to your enemies, revive your characters, or speed up the opening of bunkers. Consult the codex for more details, and I will actually show you that. Automatons are controlled the same way other characters are. If you lose your automaton, you lose the game. That's it. If your automaton's HP drops to 0, it's not an instant game over. You can revive it if you have a fusion core. Consult the codex for more details. So really quick, I will show you the fusion core stuff. Big advantage here if you get to a bunker and like you're just getting overrun by enemies, you can immediately unlock the bunker. Right now, without any upgrades, I believe it's 5 turns to unlock a bunker, so that's pretty significant. You can see this damage ability that it has, where it does armor piercing to multiple enemies, and it's a giant AoE. And then you can revive your downed units as well. So yes, you might think, oh, just go to the bunker, use the core, but I think you want to save them for your downed units as much as you can, and only use them on a bunker when you feel like you absolutely have to. But it's early, so I'm not 100% sure, and we'll figure that out as we go. Okay, let's get Michael to here, and let's open this. Take medical supplies. Gideon, our sniper, you can grab this. Nothing. Okay. And then I will take a little peek here with our little drone. His ability is that support mode, as we talked about, grants percentage chance to hit, extra damage, and that impacts everybody around him. I'm just going to chill here for right now. I don't necessarily want to lead with the thing that we cannot lose. Tilly. Let's put you here for a sec. Supply crate. Okay. So any of these blue things, any blue outlines, are only openable by our automaton. The important thing about these supply crates is you get upgrade parts. And between combat, that's what you use to upgrade your weapons. They can only be opened by an automaton. Tiles that only automatons can interact with are highlighted in blue. So you see another one here. What is that, I wonder? Well, we'll get there. I'm not going to dash in here too quick just because our guys are a little separated. So I'm just going to try and group them up slightly. I've obviously played this tutorial a couple of times, so I'm somewhat familiar with what could go down. All right, so let's bring them up here. And we're going to open the supply crate. And we get upgrade parts, as it said. Now, what we could do is we could bring people up to him and engage support mode. The problem is, like, all of our enemies are coming from straight ahead, and I don't have great cover there. And remember, if I use him, if I lose him, then we lose the game. So these guys are melee units, and this guy is a shooter. So we can hover over them and hold Alt. It'll show you their possible distance of movement. So these guys aren't really a threat, but this guy could move up and take a shot. So I think what I'm going to do just for right now is we'll pull you back here. Tilly. How far can these guys get? Okay, so they can make it quite a ways here. I'll put Tilly on the half cover. We'll put Gideon. Actually, let me look at this. So his Overwatch angle is kind of wonky there. So I will actually move up and we'll Overwatch from that position. And then I'm going to keep Michael way back here. I'll maybe just go to this spot. If he gets shot at, hopefully it's not enough to kill him. I don't know if that guy's going to be able to reach. He's pretty far back. Let's Overwatch both here. Now, strategically, probably would have made sense for me to put him here so that we get that Overwatch buff by them being next to each other, but either way. Oh, I wanted to hunker down there. Okay, that worked out. It was 68% chance. Okay, so another thing about Overwatch that I want to point out here. I will do it with you. So, Overwatch in most tactics games will just like trigger at, you know, whatever percentage. As long as there's a shot, we'll take that Overwatch. In this game, you fire an enemy that moves within your line of sight if your chance to hit is above or equal to 40%, which is really nice. And you can get multiple Overwatches if you use multiple action points to Overwatch. However, you'll still only shoot at one of the targets. So you won't shoot the same target multiple times. It's just something to keep in mind. Okay, let's go ahead and Katana Slash here. And I'll move her kind of north so we can start looting some of that stuff. Remember, melee stuff cannot miss. These are incredibly important, okay? If there's an upgrade station on the map, consider using it. It's the only way to level up your automaton. So these guys will level up based on surviving the mission, and there's a couple of bonus XP for like most kills or most looted, stuff like that. But your automaton, literally the only way to level them is by using these things. So they're very important, but there's a twist, of course, which we'll talk about in a second. Okay, let's search this. We'll bring you in here, and we'll actually just vent. And then this is our ultimate goal here, to the bunker, which we're going to get to soon. So we'll put our support unit here. Now, this is like an ideal location, right? He's hidden behind this thing. He's like out of vision, just fine. This is a really safe space for him. The challenge is like, he's going to be on this for 2 turns. And yes, he's immune, but if this isn't a dangerous spot, enemies could be creeping up and we're fighting over here, and then he's like exposed on the turn we get him back. So yeah, some stuff to consider. But the fact is, he's going to be out of action for a couple of turns while this is happening, right? So what I might try and do here is start opening the bunker at the same time. So we're not waiting for this and waiting for this. But am I going to regret that? Maybe. Let's use Michael. Get him over there. In order to finish the combat phase, you need to open the bunker door. Now, it can be used... you can use the fusion core as we talked about, but we're going to save it for later. And this is the only thing that you can't interact with after you dash. It's something you'll have to keep in mind. Let's search some more stuff here. And we can set up an Overwatch. I don't think it's going to trigger here, but that's fine. And we'll do this. Yes, we're getting warnings that her weapon is hot. Hey, oh, that actually was awesome. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure what she hit, because that said it did 2 damage. Might have been something else back there. I'm not sure. Another thing we can do with the sniper, I'm gonna not be able to do it here because of venting, but I could take a quick shot and then Overwatch with 1 AP on a shot that would normally cost 2. The downside, of course, is that it could go off at a 40%, but you can kind of manipulate that a little bit to be effective. So let's go ahead and take this at 80. I'm happy with that. And we'll vent. And now we're going to start breaching. So if we have a core with him, we could unlock it straight up, but we're going to start breaching here. I could and will actually do this. We'll reduce a little bit of stress just because why not? And then we're going to go ahead and breach the door. So this is opening in 5 turns now. Let's come over here and search that. Absolutely nothing. Let's start running back. Okay. So now we're going to get our Automaton back, which is very nice. Very happy to have him. And after combat's ending, we'll have a new level, which is excellent. So what I'll do here, just to kind of maybe demonstrate how this works. We don't have to park people in here. They can move. We just have triggered the unlock process. We'll put our Automaton here. And we'll do something like this. Let's vent you now. This is obviously a little bit of an easier level because it's a tutorial. Things don't always go this smoothly, as you might imagine. We'll set up an Overwatch there, and I'd like to show the support mode. Oh, hello. See ya. Hey, we'll take that. Okay, so... I can still make this work. Albeit slightly differently than I would have liked, but that's fine. Let's come down here. Now he's still exposed, right? This is the thing. I could have put him here and then put people on either side, but I'd rather my units be covered. It doesn't matter. We'll be fine here, but our positioning with him is very important because I'll show you how this works. All of the stuff around him is impacted. We're gonna bring Michael down here. And this means that there won't be any heat buildup, and their chance or their minimum damage is higher, and their maximum damage is higher, and they get an extra, where is it here, 15% chance to hit. So that's pretty cool. We don't really have a great shot on this guy. And it says it's because of high cover. I'm thinking that this is blocking him somehow. So we'll maybe just Overwatch that. We could also just run at him with the sword. We could go there and get that kill for sure. I'm going to play it safe here. I'm going to play it... This is definitely safe. 59. Yeah, okay. We'll take that. 93. 1 to 5 damage. Let's see what we can do here. We got the 1. Yeah, that's right. Quick shot's also a reduced chance to hit. I don't know if I mentioned that. I wonder... a little tricky in here, isn't it? Let's set up her Overwatch. She'll get 2 shots. 100% there. And then if this guy does move... Yeah, there we go. Nice. That'll work. Oh, hello. Okay, we got 5 on him. We come down here for the flank, though. But then we're only at the quick shot, unfortunately. Either way, this should be okay. Do you want to move the Automaton? Here's the thing, right? So if we exit support mode, then this is on cooldown. So you can't just use it all the time. But we have enough to deal with this. And we have this opening in 2 turns. I think some players are going to fall into a trap where you're just trying to kill so many units. Now we got in-game achievements here that we can unlock, collect unlock points, these medals. And these medals are really important. We're going to talk about that in a second. Let's go here. Grab whatever's there. Medical supplies, that's fine. Use these unlocks to unlock new characters, skills, and upgrades. That's fine. And I think we're going to be okay. Let's just Overwatch here. 2 more turns. And we'll just have you... We'll just end the turn manually here for now. Okay. 1 more turn. So let's get these guys down here, get them in range, and we're going to be taking off pretty quick. Sick. So we get a little bit of stress reduction there. When we open a bunker door for the first time, like that, we get a medal as well. Now, what do we do with these medals? That's a great question. We can unlock team skills, weapon upgrades, or characters. You can unlock automatons in here as well. Now, this is an interesting system because you can unlock these characters now, and then it allows them to appear as a rescuable character in some of the missions, because we will go to 4 characters at some point if we find somebody to rescue. So it's kind of tempting to do this and have people to unlock, especially for future runs and stuff. But there's some really important team skills I think should take priority. Like this one, everybody would get HP bonuses, so they get +1 AP, and this can be upgraded multiple times. This is a team skill that reduces the time necessary for the bunker door to open. I feel like that's pretty good. Free action to temporarily boost the movement range of all characters. We have this here, all stress-reducing skills in the shelter, reduce more stress. Team skill here, no time to rest, increases the number of action points during the shelter phase. This is basically the number of things you can do to heal, reduce stress, search for stuff, buff, like use some of your individual parties' shelter buffs, stuff like that. Hotter fusion cores, increase fusion core damage. Definitely don't want to do that one. First aid training, increased healing of characters during the shelter phase, and increased healing of automatons during the shelter phase. And then weapon upgrade wise, these are, I'll get to this in a second, but for now, I'm tempted to go toughness and then probably into bunker breaching. Let's unlock this. And just because we've unlocked this doesn't mean it's actually active yet. We have to go in and level that also. So anyways, enter the shelter. Let's go. Again, you're not rewarded for necessarily getting kills. Somebody that gets the most kills will get 1 extra XP, but there's no, you do not want to get into the trap of trying to hunt enemies and stuff. That is bad news bears. Let's go. You managed to hide in the bunker and close the reinforced door from the inside. You're safe for a few hours. Now it's time to rest and suit up. So, what do we got? We got levels on everybody. That's very nice. You can level up your characters. You're also rewarded with a team skill point after every mission, which you can use to purchase team-wide upgrades. After you level up your characters, you'll be able to advance the shelter phase. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly click through all of these to get rid of them. If you wanted to read any of these, feel free to pause as I click through them, and you can do that. but I just want to clear them so that if new things pop up, I know what's new and what's not. So let's get rid of these. Status effects, stun, combat tactics. These are the ones that we've unlocked. The looting spree, the chop and blast, and the covering fire. So the other ones, you can try to make some guesses as to what these might be. Take cover, like maybe that's everybody hunkering down. That could be a thing. Bring them on, I've no idea. Back from the dead, probably resurrecting somebody or something like that. Too loud, maybe grenades, adrenaline rush, I'm not sure, but either way. Let's get into some, let's do the team points first, okay? So this is the thing that we unlocked for toughness on the previous screen. So we can give +1 max HP for every human character. The ones that are already in here, grenade mastery. So instead of 3 to 5 range, they'll go 3 to 6. But you can also view what all the levels could possibly be used for. Why is it not letting me do that? Weird. Okay, it doesn't matter. At the third level of this, you get a buff to the minimum and maximum range, and you can use them in this stun mode, so your grenades kind of have different usage as well. But for now, we're just going to get +1 max HP for every character. It shows it there. Don't know why this doesn't work here, but maybe at another screen. There we go. Okay. Let's upgrade our Automaton. So he's level 2, gets +1 HP off that. Now, we could buff support mode, so you get a 20% chance to hit and +2 to max damage. That's pretty good. Lay low, we can increase defense there. Intimidate, we can force all enemies to target this unit during their next turn. That's pretty good, I think. That's pretty solid. Dynamo boost, gain +4 movement range on the next turn. And stun grenade, throw a stun grenade at a specific location. Every character caught in the area of effect becomes stunned and loses the next turn. And it's on a cooldown for 4 turns. Here, view all levels is working. Okay. So this can help you make different decisions, I guess. This is basically just reducing the cooldown. This is very powerful, so that's why it's like that. I think we're going to take the stun grenade. Tilly, our sword master. So she has Katana Slash. She has Sharpen the Katana, which is a shelter skill that she can use. You sharpen your blade, and then you gain +2 damage for melee attacks during the next combat, which is huge. Like, this is massive amounts of damage. But she already has this unlocked. Katana Combo, this is definitely what we're taking. The first 2 successful Katana kills this turn, refund up to 2 AP. If you combine that with a sharpening here, she's dealing basically 4 damage. I don't know if I can see her sword damage in here anywhere. But, yeah. Anyways. Yeah, okay. Katana Slash 2 to 4. And if we sharpen it, she gets +2 damage, so it's 4 to 6. And then the Katana Combo, the first 2 kills, refund AP. Like, that's really nice. Cooldown's pretty low here, too. I'm going to use this before it gets nerfed, because it will. It's very strong. Gideon. What do we want to do here? So, Quick Shot. If you upgrade it, it'll do 33% less damage instead of 50. Practice Accuracy is an active shelter skill, so you get an extra 10% chance to hit during next combat. It's already pretty accurate right now. I don't know if we need to take that. Multi-Overwatch. Number of Overwatch reaction shots charges is increased by 1. So this one I have some questions about. If you look at this, the number of Overwatch reaction shots increased by 1, then 2, then 3. You're limited by how much ammo is in your gun, your heat, and that kind of stuff. You can already do 2, but I'm wondering if this just passively bumps everything by 1. So if I only have 1 AP and then I Overwatch, am I getting 2 that way? That's kind of what I'm thinking, which is still very good. Critical Overwatch. Reaction shots may cause critical damage. And Entrenchment, you gain a 15% to hit if you did not move last turn. I think what I'm going to do is take Practice Accuracy to get another active shelter skill. I feel like early on, I have more actions in the shelter than I have abilities to use them on. So I'm going to go ahead and take that. And then Michael Kipps. He's got the Pep Talk active shelter skill. And this is kind of nice. If we were to just level this up, he's going to reduce more stress per person. But 1 less stress during all stress-inducing events during the next combat for other party members. So even though he's got the most stress right now, this can help to mitigate stress long-term. We could upgrade Tactical Order, which is really nice too, because instead of just doing -5 stress on the target during combat, they'll get an extra action point as well. And this is only a 2-turn cooldown. Cover Expert's nice. Half cover's treated as full. Rapid Venting gives him a free weapon vent in combat, stacks with other weapon modifications. And Clean Weapon, another active shelter skill where he's going to get crit chance buff and +1 max damage during the next combat. The downside here is like upgrading his max damage doesn't guarantee us anything because his damage range is so high. So maybe if we modify stuff over time, that's a way to go. But I think I'm going to take this 2nd level Tactical Order. And if you get this to level 3, like look how strong that is. An action point and 30% to hit for 2 turns. Like, hello. Let's take that. That seems awesome. Okay. So those are all of our upgrades. We don't have any more medals right now. And we went into toughness, so that's ready to go. Let's go to our shelter phase now. You've been told to take the Automaton to the Imperial Palace before the vermin overrun this part of the city. Sadly, the closest bridge has been destroyed. You'll need to take a longer route via the Garcroft Bridge. Yes. Yes, we will. So this is our first chapter, the Garcroft Bridge. Here's the shelter phase. If you played Darkest Dungeon, you're going to be very familiar with how this works. By default, you get 2 AP for every character, not including the Automaton, so it's every human character. You can switch the active character the same way as you would in combat. Some actions can be performed by any character, others are specific. We're going to look at crafting a grenade, but we need these parts and we need these shards, and it shows how many action points it costs to do that. Can heal characters, reduce stress, buff them, and craft combat items. If you found any upgrade parts like this, you can use them in the shelter to upgrade your weapons or automaton. Click on the breaking upgrade parts, and this will open the details screen. So, if we take a look at each of our characters here, each weapon has 4 upgrade or modification slots. The automaton has 2 upgrade slots. Spending an upgrade part allows you to add a modification to its slot. To add a modification, select a character, pick a slot, and use Install Modification. Weapon modifications can be upgraded, but each upgrade costs 1 upgrade part more. And I even like that he goes into this level of detail to describe things. So upgrading to level 2 costs 2 upgrade parts, and upgrading to level 3 costs 3 upgrade parts. Okay. You can always remove a modification completely, receive a full refund of the upgrade parts. Very nice for being able to experiment with stuff. Modifications can only be changed in the shelter. Okay, let's look at the automaton. We have 2 upgrade parts. We could have evasion, +10 to dodge. Sure, not bad. It's really effective at level 3, but you gotta kind of work to get there. Self-repair, he can restore 1 HP 1 time in combat, and then again, this scales pretty aggressively. And then armor plating, we can't get this yet because we have to unlock it in that unlocks section with the metal. So we'll have to keep an eye on stuff like that. But let's do what here? I think a self-repair is good for him. Restoring 1 HP and then getting us towards this long-term, I think is kind of nice. And then weapons-wise, so we've got Tilly, 1 to 6 on this shotgun. But we're using her sword most of the time. We have the combat rifle. I think we're going to modify this. And then we have the pistol, the revolver, I should say, of 1 to 4. So let's do this. Let's look at installing a modification on a weapon. You can pick 1 of 6 things right now, 4 of which are locked in, again, this unlocks section. So right now we have access to aim, so aim and crit chance buffs, damage, which gives +1 minimum and maximum damage. I really like that. We have energy cells, so increases cell capacity. This is basically like ammo. And this reduces that backfire chance, if you remember from early on in the tutorial. I don't know, maybe with some different things, this becomes a tactic. Getting extra capacity is nice, but relying on backfire chance, at least with only -6, not something I'm going to be doing. Adds a chance that all action points will get refunded after a shot. So you get this to level 3, like that's pretty cool. That's pretty nice, especially if you get somebody that's shooting twice a turn or something. Very, very cool. Auto cooling grants a free weapon vent during every combat, so also pretty nice. And armor piercing, for armor piercing, because enemies do have armor, which we'll learn about soon. For now, I'm going to take the minimum maximum damage here. So this is up to 3 to 4 now, okay? And like they told us, you can remove these, and you can get that part back. If you want to upgrade one of your existing ones, then it costs twice as much, and then the third one's going to cost 3, okay? So now we've got to spend our action points. So what are we going to do? If we take a look at him, he's got pep talk. It reduces stress for all the party members, for other party members. So it doesn't impact him, which means we're not going to do it. However, we are going to rest. Resting, they can remove up to 4 points of stress, and he's got a decent amount there. He's got 6, I should say. It also increases the active character's critical chance, and this can be used multiple times, so keep that in mind, okay? So we're going to reduce this. It shows you the next combat effects here, which is awesome. Now, what are these things? In these resting zones, the shelters, you can search the shelves and search the crates to look for supplies. In our situation, we don't have a lot of healing that we need to do, so we're going to go ahead and search the shelves. So we found some extra scrap. That's fine. Let's search the crates. And we got medical supplies. So that's cool. So if we wanted to heal ourselves, we could use medical supplies and 1 AP to do that. We're not going to do that because you're going to see the next phase where we spend our food. But that is something to keep in mind. So the other thing, if we wanted to make a stim pack, we actually need more of these resources here. The scrap. We have enough of these, but unfortunately not enough of those. Grenades, we still have 4, which is good. Because crafting those, as you can see, is pretty expensive. We're going to take one of our action points here, and we're going to sharpen the katana, so she gets +2 damage for melee attacks during the next combat. That's pretty big. And then who else? Let's see. I think we'll go here so that Gideon gets +10% chance to hit during next combat. And so now we have a situation where it's like, okay, what else could we do? I have 1 more AP. There's not a ton of value in other things. But because this grants critical chance buffs, even if somebody has stress, has no stress, you could buff them just to give critical chance. In this situation, he's sitting at 2. I will go ahead and use this again here. But there are situations, if you have a really good mission, you don't need to spend all your action points, or you have just a whole bunch of action points, that you can just spam this and buff crit chance for a mission. Like, it's very cool. So now we go to the distributing food phase. We'll show you how that works. This is basically the end of the shelter, right? Distribute food to your characters. Characters with food assigned will regenerate 1 HP, which is great because we need 1 here on Michael. Or receive a dodge chance bonus if they're at full health. So if I'm concerned about food, which I don't know long-term how tight this is going to be, so I'm probably just going to give him the 1 food. Instead of giving the dodge buffs there, we're just gonna take that and be happy with it. That's going to end the day, and we go to our next mission. However, this is cool too, because it's not just like, hey, pick a random mission you want to do, right? We've got different mission modifiers. We have a Slay the Spire styled decision tree that we want to work through. Your goal is to reach the final location of this chapter. Yes, correct. Select a location, you can see a description, unique traits. So let's take a look here. Upper Drolmeek Factory, location traits, longer distance, so it takes more time to reach like the bunker exit. But there's more loot here. So how do you balance that? Because that probably means there's also more enemies, right? Here, there's hardened enemies. All enemies are immune to being stunned, which isn't terrible, except that we just took our Automaton upgrade for the stun. It's kind of sad. And there's fewer enemies here, and reinforcements appear more slowly. It's probably fine, but I kind of want to go here and go for more loot. And we'll see if that results in more enemies. There's also things that are similar to dark events that can happen over time. And then when you go to these things, you can, being successful here allows you to remove 1 active event So I don't know if that's an actual combat mission or just something we need to do. We can slow down their progress by detonating them. Who knows, but that's exciting. And just looking at some of these, less loot is present at this location. It's a special encounter with extra rewards that await you here. So that's kind of fun. That's cool. Now you can see the way that this is designed, because it's the first chapter, I guess. Like, you can go to any of these. There's not really any choices you're making here, because if you go up here, you can still come down. You can still go here. These are all basically crisscrossing until here, when it introduces you to saying, like, hey, we're going to have a choice to make. Either go to this one or go to the special one with extra rewards, right? So we'll see how it feels, but I think we will do this to try and get more loot, and we'll head in there in a bit. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you being here. This is the first episode in the series, and this is going to be a full series, so if you could like this video, that would help me a lot. I am going to be sending these videos to the dev to use on their Steam page. If you guys are watching on Steam, my YouTube channel is youtube.com/ChristopherOdd. That would be really cool to have you over there. And thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks to the devs for allowing me to share this game a few days before release with you guys. I think you guys are really going to like it, and I'm having a super time, so I know you will too. See you next time. Bye for now.